After my hysterectomy surgery, I was discharged from the hospital to home. However, 6 days later, I was back in the hospital again because of severe pain and a high fever. The admission exam revealed that my blood was infected and that I had peritonitis. A scan showed I had internal bleeding in 2 places. The infection rate had gone way up to 327 CRP. CRP is the measure of a pain-reactive protein in the blood that rises with inflammation. The pain was incredible. I needed emergency surgery to drain and wash the infected areas inside my abdomen. 15 minutes before I was taken to the operating theater, I was lying in my hospital bed feeling overwhelmed with pain. Suddenly my awareness changed and the room became filled with a bright light. There before me were my late grandmother and late mother-in-law floating toward me. They came to rest on either side of my bed. My grandmother was to the left of me and my mother-in-law to my right. Only my mother-in-law spoke. She said it wasn't my time to come with them but that they were here to help me with my pain. So, they pulled me out of my body and I floated straight upward a short distance where I stopped and remained hovering there. As soon as I left my body, everything was tranquil and I felt no more pain. My mother-in-law pointed to a whitish translucent cord attached at one end to the floating me, and at the other end to my body on the bed. She instructed me to be careful not to break that cord as I was going to need it to get back into my body. From above, I could clearly see my husband and the doctors and nurses gathered around my bed. The room was filled with a beautiful bright white light. Looking through this white light, I could see vivid colors, as well as the ordinary objects in the room. I remained floating serenely above my body until I was taken to the operating theater. Once there, my mother-in-law and grandmother vanished. In their place, beside my bed, appeared my late grandfather clad in a white coat. He had been a general practitioner/doctor during his life. However, I had never met him as he had died when I was 7 years old. He spoke to me about the details of my medical issues and pointed out, in terms of centimeters, exactly where in my abdomen the 3 main internal infections were located. He specified this medical information in Latin. I don't speak Latin but I understood him. Then he too disappeared. I immediately re-entered my body and so I was able to repeat everything my grandfather had just told me while the surgeon wrote down detailed notes and my husband listened. A couple of days after the successful surgery, I talked with the surgeon. He said he had never spoken to anyone in my condition, CRP 327, i.e. in such a lot of pain, who had been able to talk so clearly. He had never had access before to a surgery with such accurate information on where to find the main infected areas. He said that my grandfather's directions had told him to move certain internal organs aside to get to the 3rd infected location. Without my grandfather's information, he could easily have missed it, especially since, at admission, they had diagnosed me with only 2 internal infections, not 3. It was exactly as my grandfather had described it. He had said that there was an area of infected fluid in a hidden part of my pelvis and had described, in terms of centimeters, exactly where to drain this infected fluid. It was beneath a bleeding point.